Now, we know the Indiana Fever's front office has been an absolute dumpster fire. An absolute dumpster fire, guys. We all know that. They look like they are lost. They have no clue what to do, where to turn, what's going on. President of basketball operations and business operations for the Indiana Fever, Kelly Krauskopf, took to the Query and Company podcast. Shout out to them. And she went in on how they're going to try to reinsert Caitlin Clark and get her back acclimated.
What if the biggest problem for the Indiana Fever right now isn't injuries, competition, or talent, but the way the organization is thinking about its own superstar, Caitlin Clark? That question has suddenly taken over basketball discussions, and it all started after comments from Fever executive Kelly Krauskopf during a podcast appearance. Fans expected to hear confidence about the team's future, especially with Clark returning after injury, but what they heard instead created confusion and frustration across the WNBA community. The conversation centered around how the team plans to bring Clark back into the lineup and regain chemistry, but the wording used raised eyebrows everywhere. Krauskopf talked about the process.
Krauskopf, come to the front. I need to hear from you. What is going on with the decision making? What is the plan for Caitlin Clark? Because it looks like it's you guys' idea to try to build a team to win without her rather than getting supplemental pieces.
Process of reinserting Caitlin Clark into the lineup, and how the team would need time to rebuild cohesion once she returns to full action. On the surface, that might sound like a perfectly reasonable statement. After all, when any player returns from injury, teams often need a few games to adjust. However, the problem for many fans is that Caitlin Clark is not just any player. She isn't a role player or a secondary option. She is the centerpiece of the franchise, the player who has completely transformed the attention around the WNBA, and arguably the most influential player in the sport today. That's why the word reinserting instantly triggered debate, because it suggested that Clark was simply another piece being added back into a system that already exists, instead of being...
Kelly Krauskopf is my guest from the Indiana Fever. When you have a player like Caitlin Clark, that is, I don't need to tell anybody about what Caitlin Clark is, right? We know that.
Yeah.
But even though she's practicing with her teammates, even though she's around it, even though she's she's pretty ubiquitous within the field house when you go to different events there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's different than being in games. How long does it realistically take over the course of a season when you are reinserting something that is that big a straw mixing the drink to an extent for everybody to get that cohesiveness on the floor together back once again?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, you've been around it a long time. You know it does take a minute. But the thing about Caitlin that you know, we've had a lot of great players here. She makes it so easy for everybody else because of her IQ, because of her passing ability, the way she sees the floor. I mean,
okay, because of her passing ability and because of her IQ, but Stephanie White wants the girl playing small forward.
The system itself. When Clark entered the league, she didn't just bring talent. She brought an entirely new wave of excitement. Her deep shooting range, incredible passing vision, and fearless style of play made her one of the most entertaining players in basketball. Fans began filling arenas. Television ratings increased. Social media exploded with highlights. In many ways, Clark became the face of a new era for the league. That's why many analysts believe the Indiana Fever should structure every part of their strategy around maximizing what she does best. Instead of asking how Clark can fit into the team system, the real question should be how the
playing
system
off
can
the ball, so everything you're saying doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. Like what are y'all doing over there?
I mean, she really creates a lot of ease on the offensive end, and just, you know, it's not that hard to play. You know, you got to find the right players that kind of understand that, but it still does take time. You know, there were moments last year when we were down the stretch where we were like, good Lord, imagine if we had, you know, Caitlin back and healthy. And then we were losing players along the way, but thinking about the opportunities ahead of us and knowing that, okay, if we get everybody healthy again, you know, we lost Sophie partway through. I mean, she was shooting over 40% from the three, really helping us spread the floor. So there was a lot of optimism coming into this year, and knowing that when they get back out on the floor together, because we started seeing glimpses of it, when everybody's healthy and back on the court together, it's, you know, we're hopeful it's going to take us a long way.
She goes on to say
unlock Clark's abilities. Yet when people listened carefully to the interview, it sounded like the organization might be approaching the situation from the opposite direction. During the discussion, Krauskopf also praised Clark's basketball IQ and playmaking ability, emphasizing how she makes the game easier for her teammates because of the way she sees the floor. Those comments are absolutely accurate. Clark has an extraordinary ability to create opportunities that other players simply don't see. Her passes often arrive a split second before defenders realize what's happening, leading to open shots and easy baskets. Her shooting range forces defenders to guard her far beyond the three-point line, which stretches defenses and opens driving lanes for teammates. In simple terms, Clark's presence changes the geometry of the entire game. However, this is exactly why some fans are confused when they see moments where Clark is used off the ball instead of being the primary playmaker in every possession. If a player's greatest strength is orchestrating the offense and creating opportunities, it seems counterintuitive to design plays where that player isn't controlling the ball. It's like having one of the best conductors in music, but asking them to sit quietly while someone else directs the orchestra. Beyond the tactical questions, another issue that continues to frustrate fans is the construction of the Fever roster itself. As training camp approaches, the team reportedly has 8 guards on the roster. 8 guards might make sense for certain systems, but the Fever currently have far fewer forwards and centers. That imbalance becomes particularly noticeable when considering the physical demands of WNBA competition. Teams that dominate the league typically combine strong guard play.
We already went through that. Heading into camp,
size,
they have 8 guards, 3 forwards, and 1 center. What are we doing,
Without
bro?
that
I mean, what are
balance,
we doing, man?
Teams
I gotta
can
hear her
struggle against
explain this.
opponents with taller lineups and stronger front courts. The Fever do have a talented young center in Aaliyah Boston, but relying heavily on one player to anchor the entire front court can be risky over the course of a long season. If Boston gets into foul trouble or needs rest, the team may lack the depth needed to maintain defensive stability inside the paint. This roster imbalance became an even bigger talking point after the WNBA draft. Instead of selecting a forward or center to strengthen the front court, the Fever drafted another guard, Raven Johnson. Johnson is known for her defensive intensity and leadership, qualities